Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Hasan Bahri. I am from the Mathematics and Science Department, Faculty of Science and Technology. Here, I will present material on the theme of Islamization of science based on ontological, epistemological, and aksiological science. The progress of knowledge achieved by Muslims in the classical era was related to the interaction between Islam and various existed cultures. This interaction produced some new things because of their openness, the selectiveness, and creativity. As a result, they were able to develop their knowledge and Islamists all aspect their life in terms of ontology, epistemology, and axiology. Besides, they express it in Arabic language less an Islamic language. Nowadays, signs that have been known by human beings, who make them affirmation strongly by many problems what it face. So, to face this problem, the secularization and science Islamization. Then, this paper is discussed that what is secularization and Islamization of science knowledge, and how will the secularization and Islamization of science be researched from ontology as epistemology and axiology aspects. Right now, when science has failed to solve the complexity of modern human problems, experts are exerting all abilities to find alternative scientific methods that new which is able to provide solution to the problems of mankind in this era of this postmodern social science, including anthropology, to experience the same thing. An Indonesian intellectual, for example, once wrote a book entitled "The Crisis of the Social Science" to explain how right now the social science are in a critical period. Therefore, it is necessary to formulate a theory of the social science and subsequently the theory of social science, which is Islamic, and as an alternative to the social science, which is in a period of crisis. It can be started by exploring a concept from the Quran and Al-Hadith as the epistemological, ontological, and axiological foundation of science Islamic knowledge. Because, as Thomas Kuhn understood that basically, socially really is constructed by modes of thought or modus of certain inquiry, which in turn will result in a mode of knowing certain too. Emmanuel knowing to be as so-called conceptual schemes, Marx named it as ideology, and Wittgenstein see it as a culture heritage. Knowledge, science, and Islamization, and our understanding, according to the true meaning of the word. Knowledge is the result of the process of knowing. Knowing and is an activity of the soul, and knowledge that is gathered according to a certain rule becomes well called knowledge. This word in English in science, which comes from the Latin word "scire," which means also to know, and often taken in terms of contrasted knowledge by intuition of belief. But this word then experience change and development of meaningful meaning, so that science the means system knowledge which is a sequence of several processes, namely observation, study, and experiments. This is done to determine the nature or principle of what is being studied. There has been a shift in the meaning of science from knowledge to systematic knowledge based on sensory observation, and this then leads to limiting the scope of science only to the physical world. Finally, more generally, science has been understood as a knowledge systematic study of nature and the physical world. Science we have careful and deeply studied all aspects of the physical world so that it is a comprehensive study of the universe. In fact, on its development, science tries to formulate a view the world which is sometimes quite unique, even quite different or contradictory from both a philosophical and religious perspective. Islamization of science a phenomenon. Contemporary Muslims need a theory capable of support the Islamization of knowledge by providing a scientific paradigm for every Muslim, so that self-confidence answers and the courage to enter with any values or concept that produced by humans regardless of their ideology. There is no theory of Islamization. This knowledge causes Muslim science to experience decay to al-tafakkuk al-fikri, fanatism of the school, trapped in thinking static, and inherited political tomorrow that lasted by 100 years. The absurdity this adversity caused them to be fragmented and often accused of being extreme with the label of infidel, apostate, adulterous, heretical, Mu'tazilan, Jabariyah, and Qadariyah. The longest effort of Muslim science to build anthropology Islam is how to elaborate on the anthropological heritage that has been abandoned by previous Muslim science. The reconstruct scientific heritage in the format of modern science. Therefore, as suggested by Akbar S. Ahmad, we really don't have to throw away all Western scholarly studies. At least the creativity they have produced can be used as comparative material for the steps to be carried out by Islamic anthropology. What can be done then is carry out, borrowing al-Faruqi's idea, Islamization of science, with goals as defined by al-Faruqi. Number 1. Mastery of modern scientific disciplines. Number 2. Mastery of Islamic heritage. Number 3. Determination of the particular relevance of Islam for each field of knowledge modern. Number 4. The search for ways to create a creative mix between heritage and modern knowledge. Number 5. The direction of Islamic thought to the path that leads it to fulfillment of the divine pattern from Allah. Okay, next, there are several systematic steps that must be taken in Islamization science, namely master of scientific discipline, modern research, survey of scientific disciplines, mastery of Islamic heritage, determination of relevance especially between Islam and these disciplines, a critical assessment of modern discipline, critical assessment of Islamic heritage, survey of the main problems facing the Ummah. Survey the problems humanity, creative analysis, and synthesis, bringing the disciplines into the framework of Islam and spread Islamic knowledge. Next, by Al-Faruqi, the concept is described in 12 system signs. The 12 steps, that is, number 1, mastery of modern scientific disciplines. In this space, modern scientific disciplines should be defined into categories, particles, methodologies, problems, and them. Number 2, suppression of scientific disciplines. After that, integers of the disciplines divided knowledge survey shall be written about each of the disciplines. Number 3, master of Islamic heritage. Islamic heritage must be mastered by the same way, but here what is needed is potpourri regarding the Muslim heritage set of weights which often discipline. Number 4, mastery of Islamic heritage. After the potpourri is over prepared, the Islamic heritage must be analyzed from the perspective of contemporary problems. Number 5, determine the special relevance of Islam and describe disciplines that. Number 6, assessment of modern disciplines. So, this relevance of Islam with each discipline determined he must be assessed and analyzed from an Islam point of view. Number 7, critical assessment of Islamic heritage, likewise donation Islamic heritage, and every file of human activity must be analyzed and its present relevance must be discovered. Number 8, supervision of the main problems faced by the people, a systematic study of political, social, economic, intellectual, cultural, moral, and spiritual of the people Muslim. Number 9, survey of humanities issues, a similar study, but more attention to all mankind must also be made. Number 10, creative analysis and synthesis at this stage. In Muslim scholar must be ready to combine Islamic heritage with modern scientific disciplines and break the stagnation of development for countries. Number 11, keep the modern disciplines back into the Islamic framework. So, balance between interaction between Islamic heritage and Islamic heritage modern scientific disciplines have been achieved. The university textbook must be written to structure modern scientific disciplines in forget Islam. And number 12, spread Islamic knowledge. Intellectual work produced from the previous steps should be used from awaken, build humanity. Although the idea Islamization of science as offered al-Farqi was critical by some Muslim sciences themselves, but the echo of his ideas has echoed throughout the Islamic world. In Malaysia, ESTIC has been established. In Indonesia, ESTICS has been established, and on an international scale, the International Institute of Islamic Thought has been established. IIIT, or in the Arab known as Ma'had A'lami Al-Fikri Al-Islami, to further develop Al-Faruq's ideas from Islamizing the science. Another alternative is to reconstruct Islamic anthropology by creatively creating theories, methodologies, and own technical skills without totally denying the assessment of science ways. To make this happen, we can use three distinguishing characteristic knowledge, primarily about what in ontology, how, epistemology, and forward axiology. Knowledge is known, completed, and ontology a broader effort is to from a science concept Islam, which includes not only anthropology but also the social science. Author Jamaluddin Alfiya offered what he called modern knowledge, from which the philosophy of Islamic science was initiated. This knowledge consists of monothemes as the excess of all knowledge. From him will developing other science as like absorbing margins of science, intelligently, which the some substance Ziauddin Sardar to offers to establish a world view or our well-known sound Islam, in which this concept Islamic epistemology is composed of the science stage of Aqidah, Sharia, and morals. This epistemology will come into existence to broad as a nurse term for the Islamic worldview system, including science and technology, structure, political and social, economic enterprise, and environmental theory. Maybe it's enough to explain this material more of lost certainty. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.